All right, all right. We are live on Zoom, streaming live to Facebook and recording. So, yay, great, here we are. Get rid of this bubble. Okay, why is it? Okay, all right, all right. Welcome to Wednesday Reflections. Thank you for coming. Appreciate everybody that's coming on Zoom and Facebook, and then later on the recording, which will be on Facebook and also YouTube. We're streaming live to a different Facebook group than usually, although it might be a little confusing because the previous group was called Wednesday Reflections, and this one is called Wednesday Reflections. But the previous group was a private Facebook group, which turns out really limits us in terms of what we can do. So I wanted to make it public, a public group, but I can't take a private group and just, magically make it public. So I have to discontinue the previous group and start a new group. So the new group is called Wednesday Reflections Public. And that's where we're streaming right now. And so you can, if you're on Facebook now, you can join us there on that group. You don't have to be a member. If you were a member of the private group, I sent you an invitation to join the public group, and there's also a link there so that you can just click the link and watch us on Facebook Live. So that'll be Wednesday Reflections Public. It'll be Facebook Living to there, as well as being on Zoom, like we are now. And I put the link for Zoom in the Facebook Live, or the Facebook, the Wednesday Reflections Public group right there on the comments for the video. Because, there's like a time delay. If you're watching on Facebook, it's like a time delay. So if you ask a question, and you can ask a question either on Facebook or on Zoom by typing in your question in the chat box. They both have chat boxes. On Zoom, you can turn your microphone on and ask your question directly. And then with Zoom, I'll hear your question as soon as you've asked it, and I'll see it as soon as you've typed it. But if you're on Facebook, it could be several, it's almost a minute delay, I think. And then I'm not always looking at Facebook. So you might ask a question and we've moved on and I have no idea what you're asking about. So, just you might want to join the Zoom group, but you're welcome to join the Facebook group, and you're welcome to watch the recording later. Okay, so, all right. Welcome to Wednesday Reflections. I'm Ray Bratcher. I do breath work here on the Caribbean island of St. Croix, and that is where we are coming to you from tonight, 7 p.m. every Wednesday, Atlantic time, which right now is the same as New York. I might start another one, so we're in the Caribbean, so we have beautiful turquoise seas, but of course you don't see any of that at 7 o'clock at night. So maybe I should start doing something during the day by the beach or up on one of our mountains, give you some scenery to look at. But then you wouldn't be focused on the important things. All right. Oh, hang on one second. I'll make something. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right. Hmm. Well, what I'm guided to talk about tonight is about a couple of topics, and you might not see the connection between them at first, but I think as we get along into it, you'll begin to see the connection. So, one thing is um, I'm always talking about how there's an overlap between self-improvement, personal growth, personal development, and spiritual growth. So basically an overlap between personal growth and spiritual growth, right? And and the way I've put it in the past is that any path of self-improvement, no matter how lame it might be, if you stay on it long enough, it'll eventually become a spiritual path. Because personal growth is basically all about making your ego more socially acceptable, right? Learning how to have a better functioning ego, an ego that's less problematic, an ego that is less dysfunctional. So that's what you're working on when you're trying to deal with personal growth. When you're trying to improve yourself, you're buying this whole idea that you need to be improved, like there's something wrong with you, which is your perception. It's not true, but that's generally the perception that most people have. So you're working on improving your ego, fixing it up. And eventually you get to the point where you realize that the ego is the problem. And that really what you want to do is not fix it, you want to transcend it, you want to go beyond it. And then once you've realized that, once you're doing that, now you're on a spiritual path. So that's how the personal growth path becomes the spiritual growth path. You just step from one onto the other. Some people never do. Some people actually, of course, never even enter on the personal growth path. But if you do go on the personal growth path, and if you stay on it long enough, eventually it will become a spiritual growth path. And so that's how I've always explained it in the past. But really, it's the reason they're the same is because they're both instances of the same basic phenomenon, the same basic thing that you are constantly doing all the time. So the reason that it feels like you need to make things better is because you think you've left your source. You on a fundamental metaphysical level, at the deepest understanding of this, the deepest subtext of this, you think you've left your source. You think you left heaven. You think you left oneness and entered into duality. You really didn't, but you think you did. And then what you're doing is you are recreating that same basic, what appeared to be a choice, but really wasn't because it never really happened. But it's this activity, this movement from oneness into duality. This movement. Hi, Emma. Welcome. So this movement from oneness into duality, and then you just keep recreating it over and over. You recreate the same thing at your birth. You recreate the same thing in your experience every day of your life. Welcome, Emma. Hi. So you recreate. So the original movement out of heaven, out of oneness, and into duality, away from your source, which didn't really happen, but you think it did. In your perception, it did. Then you just keep doing it over and over and over again. You do it. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to mute you because we're getting background noises. Okay. So you recreate it at the moment of birth. Leaving the womb is like leaving heaven. All the thoughts and fears that you had at the moment of separation from God, you recreate at the moment of separation from your mother. And then you recreate it basically every single day of your life, in every experience that you have. Experience after experience after experience, you're constantly recreating this feeling of separation. And you do it because you want to be separated. After all that, you chose to experience separation. Even though you're not really separated, you're experiencing it as if it were real because you believe that it is real and that it is real. And then you hold on to that sense of separation by constantly recreating it in your daily life experiences. That's what grievances are for. That's what judgment is for. That's what resentment is for. It makes you feel separated. You're over and apart from those people that you're judging, that you have a grievance against, that you're resentful about. So you're constantly just recreating this feeling sense so that you can feel separated. So the personal growth path becomes a spiritual growth path, not only because eventually you begin to see through the futility of trying to make your ego better and see that what you really need to do is transcend the ego, but it's also the personal growth path becomes spiritual growth because it's really one path, because it's all the same thing. Your need, your perceived need, you think you need because you think you're not perfect, and because you've never asked to be shown your perfection, right? Because you don't ask to be shown your perfection because you already know that you're imperfect. So you never question it. So you never ask to be shown your perfection. And you defend what you know. It's really important to you to hang on to what you think you know. So if you want to wake up, it's easy and it doesn't cost anything. All you have to do is just give up everything you know. So just It's a low price. Just give up everything you know. And what you know is none of it's true. So really it's valueless. So really you aren't giving up anything. It just seems like you are. It seems like you're giving up everything, but you're not giving up anything of value. So when you so you're just like recreating the same fundamental activity over and over. Okay, over and over and over again. And that's why the personal growth path it doesn't just become the spiritual growth path, because you realize the futility of trying to fix the ego and realize you need to transcend it. It's really the same thing. All the things about yourself that you think are imperfect, that you need to fix or improve, all of those things are you just doing, again, the same thing you did when you left oneness, the same thing that you did when you left your mother's womb, the same thing that you did when you got sand kicked in your face at the playground when you were 5 years old. Over and over and over again, you're constantly doing this same basic activity. So the need for personal growth is really a spiritual need. And the imperfection that you think you see in yourself, that you're trying to fix with personal growth, is only an apparent imperfection, and it's a lie that you're telling yourself in order to keep yourself out of heaven, away from your source, in duality, instead of being one with your source. So you're constantly recreating that. And so that was the first thing I wanted to talk about. And I said that there were two things I wanted to talk about tonight, and it doesn't seem to be a connection, but you'll see the connection later. The second thing I wanted to talk about was lucid dreaming, lucid dreams. So if you don't know what a lucid dream is, it's really very simple. A lucid dream is you're asleep, you're sleeping in your bed, presumably at night, I guess, and you're dreaming, and then suddenly in the middle of the dream you realize that you're dreaming, but you don't wake up. The dream keeps going. You're asleep, you're dreaming, but now you know you're dreaming. So at first you're dreaming and you don't know you're dreaming, and then something happens and suddenly you know you're dreaming, but you keep dreaming. You don't wake up. So you just keep on dreaming, but now you know you're dreaming. And they're not like super common, but they're not like super rare either. Lots of people have had them, and I've had a few. And so I've read about them, and so there's a lucid dream that I wanted to talk about because of what realizations I came to because of this dream, actually for the most part within the dream, maybe some of them later, which I've never seen anyone mention. When you read accounts about lucid dreams, I've never seen anyone talk about this. And I'm pretty sure other people who have had lucid dreams also had this experience, but maybe they didn't notice it because this isn't, most people with lucid dreams, they like to talk about how they could, go fly, they could fly, or they could do this, or it's like kind of what's entertaining about it. So they're not like, looking for the same kinds of things that I'm looking for. They're not sensitive to the aspects of consciousness and waking up that are important to me. So maybe that's why I noticed this, and other people who have had lucid dreams didn't, at least not so far as anything I've read. So let me kind of, I don't want to go through the whole every gory detail of the lucid dream. So I'll just kind of thumbnail it for you. So in this dream, I have this paper, some kind of official paper that I'm supposed to deliver to some lawyer's office in Colorado. And I'm on the East Coast someplace, the East Coast of the US. And I've got this important paper and I have to get it delivered to this lawyer's office. And I can't figure out how to get it there. And so I'm asking everybody, how do I do this? How do I get this paper there? And no one cares. I can't get anybody to help. Everybody is, they're just saying they don't know. It's not just that they don't know, it's that they're completely indifferent. They could care less. They don't seem to realize how important it is that I get this paper delivered. They don't share my sense of urgency about this. They're like completely, they don't care. And that is making me get really irritated and frustrated. And I just can't understand why nobody else seems to grasp the gravity and the importance of this quest that I've been assigned, right? And so I'm sitting there trying to figure out what to do. And then suddenly I remember that the back wall of my bedroom closet of my childhood home teleports, and I can just walk through the back wall and I'll be teleported to Colorado. Apparently it only worked for Colorado. So, this is a dream, right? So in a dream, all of this makes perfect sense. So suddenly I'm at the front steps of my childhood home. How I got from wherever I was to my home and why I couldn't do the same thing to get to Colorado, so it's a dream, right? So you just got to deal with it. Anyway, so I knock on the door, and the new owners, because we'd moved out years ago, the new owner opens the door and I'm like, hi, I used to live here. I need to use the back wall of the bedroom closet to teleport to Colorado. And he's like, oh, okay, sure, come on in. So go help yourself. So, right, everything, no problems there. No, what are you talking about? Just so, right. So dream logic, right? So I go up the stairs to my bedroom, and the bedroom closet, which is completely empty. They didn't put anything in it, which is really convenient for me because I had total access to the back wall. And I walk through the back wall and I'm teleported to Colorado. And it's like, so, wow. But I am not anywhere. I'm in Colorado, but I'm like in, I don't know, like the cattle range or the foothills of the Rocky Mountains or something, because there is nothing. No roads, no people, no town, no city, let alone offices where a lawyer's office might be. Just completely deserted, and I'm completely by myself, and I have no idea where to go, which way to go to get to this lawyer's office. But at least I'm in Colorado. And then in the dream, I notice that there's like a hill, not like a mountain, but a gentle hill, but it gently sloping, and it goes up quite a ways. And I think, well, if I were to walk up to the top of that hill, have like a bird's eye view, I could look around, get a 360, and maybe I'll see a town or a road or cars or something. And I can like start heading towards civilization and maybe find this lawyer's office I'm supposed to deliver this important document to. So I start walking up the hill. And it's quite a long walk. Even within the dream, it's quite a long walk. And I'm totally by myself, and there's no noise at all. So I have plenty of time to be alone with my thoughts, plenty of time to just sort of like think. And as I'm walking up the hill, it suddenly dawns on me, wait a minute. Walking through the back wall of your bedroom closet to teleport to Colorado, that doesn't exist. That's not a thing. That's not real. And then it suddenly hit me. I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming all of this. And at that point, it became a lucid dream. The dream continued, but now I knew I was dreaming. And it wasn't just like I figured it out, because you can figure things, you can know something intellectually. It's the same thing with waking up in this dream. A lot of times people confuse understanding the concept of oneness versus duality, non-duality. The concepts of Course in Miracles, like an intellectual understanding, which is not the same thing as actually waking up. So I did not only just figure out that I was dreaming, I actually became awake within the dream. I knew that I was dreaming. And so, what do I mean by that? So that's like one of the things that I was talking about, where I never see anybody comment on this when they write about lucid dreams. But to me, this is one of the major factors. As soon as I woke up, I realized how completely unimportant it was to get this paper delivered to this lawyer's office. Maybe not like totally unimportant, but not this urgent quest that where I was, hysterically running around like a chicken with its head cut off, getting irritated and frustrated at everyone for not realizing how urgent this was and being so, uncaring about it or indifferent. And not just because I knew it was a dream. So it doesn't matter because it's only a dream. Even within, because remember, the dream kept going. And even within the context of the dream, it wasn't all that important. And the reason that happened is because once I woke up, I had access to more of my consciousness. If you think of the guy asleep in the bed, dreaming all of this, and you think of me as the little dream character running around, going to his childhood home, going up into his bedroom closet, teleporting to Colorado, trying to get help from people and getting frustrated because nobody seemed to realize how important it was that this paper get delivered to Colorado. What you could say that before I woke up in the dream, I only had access to a tiny fragment of my consciousness. And you could think of it as the consciousness concerned, the aspect of my personality concerned with taking jobs seriously, getting things done on time, doing what I say I'm going to do, accomplishing assigned tasks, right? Like the responsible adult that you can ask them to do something and it will get done. They will take it seriously. They will accord to it the importance that it deserves and get it done for you. So that tiny fragment of my overall consciousness is very focused on getting the paper to Colorado. And that was the sum total of its existence. It had no purpose for existing other than getting that job done, right? But as soon as I woke up within the dream, not that I woke up, but I realized that I was dreaming, then I had access to much more of my consciousness. I was like getting access to, maybe 100% of the consciousness of the guy asleep in the bed. So like the little myopic, obsessive compulsive aspect of consciousness that was like really focused on getting this thing done. And was only like a fraction of my consciousness. But then once I woke up inside the dream and knew that I was dreaming, now I have access to maybe all of my consciousness. And within, when the whole consciousness looked at it, it realized, this actually, it's not that important. I don't need to be freaking out about this. I can get this done, but it's not like the world is going to end if I don't do it in the next 15 minutes. And so I don't need to be running around like a chicken with his head cut off, getting all hysterical and getting irritated and frustrated at people for not realizing how important this is. So I've never seen anybody writing about lucid dreams who talks about the difference in the dream character's consciousness before they wake up or become lucid, before the dream. I don't want to say wake up, because now you don't know if I'm talking about waking up in this dream or waking up in the lucid dream, or did I wake up? I thought you said the lucid dream keeps going, but now you know it's a dream. So I want to say when it became lucid. So I'm in the dream and I'm dreaming and I don't know I'm dreaming, and I have access to a fraction of my overall consciousness. And then as soon as I knew I was dreaming, now all of a sudden I have access to apparently all of my consciousness. And I've never seen anybody talk about the difference. And within the dream, it occurred to me to wonder, well, do I have access to all of my consciousness? A couple of minutes ago, I thought I had access to all of my consciousness then, and clearly I did not. It seemed like I was a total human being when I was running around frantic about this paper that needed to be delivered. Then after the dream became lucid, I realized that I was actually only operating on like one cylinder. Now I've got 16. So before, it felt like I was a total being. It felt like I had access to my total consciousness. So now I know that wasn't true. And now it feels like I have access to my total consciousness. But how do I know I do? Maybe I only have access to a part of it. Maybe the guy sleeping in the bed has 10 times more consciousness than I do, right? How would you know? So when you wake up within this dream, the consciousness expands and it seems much more expansive and full than what you're normally operating on before you wake up. But how do you know it's all there is? So you shouldn't assume that there's no more to go. There might be further to go. It feels like, totally complete. How could there be more? But that was the same thing in the lucid dream. It felt totally complete when I was obsessed with this document. And then when I became lucid within the dream, I realized what a fraction of consciousness I was operating on it, right? And so then I'm thinking, well, now I've got the full picture. But even within the dream, I'm thinking, yeah, how do I know though? How do I know for sure? It felt like the full picture. It felt like I was running on all 16 cylinders, a couple of minutes ago. Now I realize I wasn't. Maybe I'm still not. Maybe there's a lot further to go. So that was one aspect that the change in the consciousness, your consciousness as the dream character before you know you're dreaming compared to what it's like after you know you're dreaming. And yeah, so I've never seen anybody talk about that. So, and the other thing is, so I'm walking up this hill and I realize I'm dreaming, and suddenly there's a woman there. So the place was totally deserted, but now there's a woman there, and we start talking, but we didn't really say a whole lot before. In the dream, I had the thought, maybe I should tell her this is a dream, and let her know that this is a dream. And then what would happen? How would that affect the dream? What would change about the dream? And I'm thinking to myself, in the dream, she's not really there. That's a dream character that I put there in my dream. So this is actually me. This woman in the dream is another aspect of my consciousness. And that aspect of my consciousness does not know that this is a dream. So maybe I should share this with her, me, right, and tell her it's a dream. But then I had the thought, I'm having this dream for a reason. There's something I'm supposed to learn from this dream. So if I mess it up by telling the other dream characters that it's a dream, it might mess up, it'll go a different direction, and I won't get the lesson or the information that I was supposed to get, or maybe it would just become so chaotic I'd wake up, it would just wake me up and I wouldn't get to finish the dream. So if I'm having this dream, it must be for a reason, and so I don't want to mess it up, so I'm not going to tell this woman that it's a dream. And so I didn't, and the dream continued more, apparently it seemed to continue according to script. But now think about that. I mean, isn't that convenient for the dream script? The dream script kept going. It was like I did not have free will to choose to alter the dream script. It seemed like I had free will. It seemed like I freely chose not to mess up the dream. But what if there was nothing free about that choice at all? What if the dream script was going to keep going according to plan no matter what? And me choosing not to tell the woman that this is only a dream was a part of the script. Maybe the script altered to take into account the fact that now I knew it was a dream, or maybe that was part of the script from the beginning. But either way, once I knew it was a dream, the dream script said, Ray does not tell the woman that it's a dream, so that the dream can continue to go according to the original plan, according to the script, right? So it seemed like I was making a choice. I choose not to tell this woman in my dream that this is a dream, because I don't want to mess up the dream, because I want to see where this goes. So that seemed like I chose to do that, but maybe I had no choice, because it was a part of the script, and the dream script is going to go the way it was going to go, the way it was written down, right? And so just to not keep you in suspense, somewhere after this point, I woke up. It was in the morning. I just woke up, and dream was over. I'd gotten a good night's sleep, and that was pretty much all there. If there was anything else that happened after that, I don't remember. But it was a really interesting experience in terms of how your consciousness behaves within the dream. And it gives us clues as to how we can wake up in this dream. So one of the clues is, the reason I woke up within the lucid dream is because I had time to think about the fact that teleportating through your bedroom closet wall to Colorado is not a thing, does not exist. Because at that point in the dream, I was taking a long walk up this hill, and there were no distractions. So normally what happens in our life is we're completely engaged with things going on out there. Our life is filled with distractions because we put those distractions there to keep us from figuring out that this is a dream. Because remember, you chose to experience, or apparently experience, because you haven't really left oneness, but you chose to apparently leave oneness. So you're going to keep yourself distracted so that you don't have time to notice, wait a minute, this makes no sense. That's not a thing. Now, of course, you're not going to have something as blatantly obvious as teleporting closets. But there are a lot of things that if you get really conscious about your day-to-day experience and begin to notice how you're constantly repeating the same patterns over and over and over again. For example, that's just one example. If you begin to closely observe your life, your behavior, your day-to-day experiences, you'll begin to suspect that there's something funny going on. So, and see, I think that we, in a lot of ways, we get clues. No, you're not going to get like a big neon sign saying, this is all a dream. Really, you're one with God right now, and you're just creating this for yourself. You're not going to get like a big neon sign. You're not going to get like, even if you get like a channeled message from heaven, or an angel coming down to you, or some glowing light telling you all this, even if you get me that you've created in your perception to tell you all this, these are all alarm clocks that you've created to tell you these things, to help you to wake up. But and all you can get from these alarm clocks is just like the information that this is a dream, and but it's not going to wake you up. It's like you're sound asleep in your bed, and I walk in there and tell you you're dreaming. On some level, yeah, you hear it, but it's not really going to have an effect until you can see it for yourself that you are dreaming. So when I am telling you this, what is helpful for you is if you think of the example of the lucid dream where, because I had the time to think about what was going on, I realized that teleporting closets aren't real, and this is a dream. So if you take this information and don't, if you just say, oh, so it's a dream. So yeah, that's what all the great spiritual masters have been saying for thousands of years. So, okay, it's a dream. Now I know that. Let's go on to the next thing. I like the example that Ken Wapnick gives in the Course in Miracles, a book he wrote about the Course in Miracles, where people say, well, since this is just a dream, I really don't need to worry about anything. So I could just cancel my life insurance, quit my job, stop seeing the doctor, and maybe, not even buying food, because it's all just a dream. So none of that should make a difference. And Ken Wapnick's answer to that was, yes, it's true. It is all just a dream. And none of that really makes a difference in reality. That's true. But unless you really, 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 really know that this is a dream, you should keep your insurance and your health care and don't quit your job and keep going to work and keep going to the grocery store. In other words, you have to have that experience. It can't just be like a conceptual, intellectual understanding in your head. So you have to take this alarm clock of this information and then turn it into a real experience. And like a model for that, because we get clues, lucid dreams, if you just think of it as a parallel, your dreams at night are a parallel to your dreams here in this apparent reality. You seem to be in this world, but it's not real. It's a dream. And you have a model for that, a parallel for that in your dreams at night. And you can take the lessons, like the dreams at night are like a little clue. Hey, you're dreaming. Just like what's happening here at night, you're doing the same thing during the day. That's what it's telling you. And then with the lucid dream, what it's telling you, or at least what it told me, and now I'm sharing it with you, is you can realize that it's possible to realize that you are dreaming, even though the dream keeps going. It is possible for the dream to become lucid. And one of the ways that that happens is when you begin to notice things in the dream world and you look at them closely enough that you realize this doesn't really make sense, right? This does not really make sense. There's something not quite right about this. So you make an effort not to be distracted. Like in the dream, when I was being distracted by all these people who didn't seem to understand how important this was, and I was getting irritated. That's a distraction. I was getting frustrated. That's a distraction. I was getting confused. Why don't they understand? How can they not understand? That's a distraction. It kept me focused on stuff going on out there. As soon as the dream moved to the place where I was completely alone and there were no distractions, I was able to come to the realization that this makes no sense. This is not a thing. This doesn't exist. This can't be real. And the same thing can happen with you in your day-to-day life. If you quit getting sucked into the distractions of people who irritate you, people who don't do what they're supposed to do, grievances, resentments, all that stuff, and just, I'm not saying like go move to a cave in the Himalayas. I mean, your life will continue. You will continue to have irritating, upsetting, frustrating interactions and experiences, but it doesn't have to be 100% of your time. It doesn't have to occupy you 100% of the time. You can set aside some time to get quiet and go within, and not just like in a morning meditation, but as you're going about your day, being annoyed, being irritated, being frustrated, have have a part of your consciousness stepping back into observer mode, and just watch. And if you just watch what's going on, eventually you'll begin to suspect that this isn't a thing. This doesn't exist. This makes no sense. It may not be a teleporting closet, but it will be, you'll have some distance between you and your experience that will allow you to begin to see that there is some unreality going on here. And you'll also begin to realize that there is a kind of a script going, that you don't have to worry so much about what you're going to do, because that's going to happen automatically. You're just kind of going along with the flow. And these people that appear to arise in your perception, you put them there. They are aspects of your own consciousness. They are you, basically. And you, just like in the lucid dream, I put that woman there. I put all the people in my dream. Before it became lucid, I was getting irritated at people because they didn't seem to understand how important this paper was. But after it became lucid, and so I didn't know that they were me. I didn't know that I put them all there. And why did I put them there? I put them there to make me get irritated and frustrated, to show me something within myself that I needed to look at. And that's what you do. That's what we all do in our daily life. If someone in this dream, your waking everyday reality, does something that irritates you, that's because the irritation is in you, and you put them there to show you something that normally you wouldn't have noticed. And if that irritation is in you, it's because you are believing something about yourself that isn't true. You are seeing yourself as imperfect or guilty in some way. And so really you're just getting irritated at yourself. And so that's why we're always grateful when someone annoys us or irritates us or treats us unfairly. It's like it's an opportunity to learn something and to see through the illusion, to see through to the underlying false idea, false belief, incorrect thought that we are believing about ourselves. And one thing that makes this really hard for people to be able to work with is that we kind of we break ourselves up into parts. We think of ourselves as like having thoughts, breathing a certain way, having emotions, feelings, which could be like physical feelings in the body or emotional feelings in the body. We have perceptions. We see things, or hear. I'll just use perception as any one of the five senses. So you might be smelling something which you don't like, and then you have a reaction to that. Smell, hear, taste, touch, but we'll just make it easy and we'll just talk about seeing. So you have a perception, you see something, and then you have a judgmental thought about what you see. And then you have a mental narrative, thoughts about why this is wrong, why you are justified in being judgmental against what you saw. And then you have a feeling, an emotional feeling, which is always going to be felt somewhere in your body in a particular place, and it will have a particular feeling to it. And then it might also show up as an actual physical sensation. And most people never really get past the mental narrative about it. They don't feel it in their body. They don't notice how their breathing is changing, because we split ourselves up. We think of our thoughts are one thing, our emotions are something else, our physical body is something else, our breathing is another thing entirely. But if you think about it, like, if you go to the grocery store to go shopping, do you leave your emotions at home? Is your body walking on the beach while you're in the grocery store shopping? Like, it all goes together, right? Wherever you are, all of that is. And it's just like in the lucid dream. In the lucid dream, when I was walking up that hill, or when I was running around hysterically trying to find out how to get this paper delivered, talking to a bunch of people who were irritating me because they didn't care, all of me was there. It felt like all of me was there, right? All of me was apparently there. My body was there. My thoughts were there. My emotions were there. The sensations of irritation were there. All of that appeared to be there. But in reality, none of it was there, was it? Because it wasn't real. It was a dream. None of that was there. Actually, all of that was there, apparently, but it was all made out of dream stuff. The thoughts were made of dream stuff. My body was made of dream stuff. My emotions were made of dream stuff. The energy sensations in my body, depending on what was happening and what I was reacting to, was made of dream stuff. But it was all together. It wasn't like the dream thoughts were taking place over here and the dream body was feeling stuff over there. It was all together. And so even though we like to break, you see, the reason you break yourself apart into pieces, the reason you don't feel the energetic sensations in your body that arise when you make something wrong, when you perceive something arising, you put someone in, everyone in your field of perception is an aspect of you, and you put them there in order to have a reaction to something they do or say, because to help you to wake up. That's another one of your alarm clocks that you've set, like little Easter eggs in a video game to go off from time to time, because eventually you realize you're dreaming. But the reason that you want to see yourself as separate pieces, your mind your mind apart from your emotions apart from your body apart from your breathing. You break yourself up so that you can be more identified from your reality to keep yourself asleep, to keep yourself from realizing it's a dream. You make it harder or to wake up, more likely that you will stay asleep by breaking it up into bits and pieces. So if you just keep that in the back of your mind, and as you go through your life, you look for, just like, keep a part of your consciousness, no matter what's going on, sort of like in the back, witnessing, observing, just watching your life, and keep it all together. Don't break it up into separate parts. So you observe someone doing something that you don't like. So that's a thought. That's a story in the head. What's happening with your breathing while that's happening? You might notice that your breathing is getting short. It's not deep and relaxed. Your physiological state is changing in accordance with your thoughts about what you're perceiving. And you'll feel an energy arising within your body, and it might be the energy of irritation, and like that's like it's an emotion, but it's not a direct emotion. It's really a compact. It's composed of more than one emotion, and to really get into it, you need to like really feel it and get into it. And then it also shows up as a physical energetic sensation in your body. And the energy in your body, if you don't, you can feel it. You can feel what it is doing, so long as you're not allowing yourself to be distracted and break yourself up into all different parts and pieces. And if you really, it's kind of like you are dreaming and you're setting things up to wake you up, and they can wake you up if you're really conscious about what's going on. If you're really conscious about, okay, I think I'm dreaming. I could be looking at this, feeling this, really not getting distracted, not letting myself get fragmented into a million different pieces. I really need to sort of like come back to center and deal with what's going on here at the very beginning. Once it gets out in the world, it starts getting super complicated, and it's really hard to figure out what's going on. You just get distracted. The thing about the ego is that it is separation. So it separated you, apparently. It didn't really happen, but you believe you separated from your source, right? So that's one. But the ego, all the ego knows is separation. It's like a cancer cell run amok. They just is constantly separate, or an amoeba maybe, constantly dividing. It doesn't stop with it. The ego does not stop with that first separation. It separates, then it separates again, then it separates again, then it separates again, constantly. That's how you are constantly recreating in your day-to-day experience, beginning with your birth, the whole motif of separation. You're constantly separating, dividing. And once you have, so when you follow the ego out separation after separation, division after division out into the world, it just starts getting too complicated. You can't figure out what's going on. You'll never realize what's going on if you try to figure it out, unless you bring it back to source, back to center, like back to the very basics. Don't fragment yourself between mind, body, emotions, breath. You're one thing. You're not like a mind and you leave your emotions at the beach and your body is asleep in your bed. You are one whole. Your breath, your breathing affects your body. Your body affects your mind. The thoughts that what you see makes you have thoughts, which turn into a mental narrative, which triggers emotions, which feel a certain way in your body, which has an effect on how the life force energy of your body flows through your body. It's not only interconnected, it's basically one thing. It's not even cause and effect. It's a simultaneous happening. The energy that you feel, if you realize that it's all one thing, and you go into that energy and allow yourself to feel it instead of just thinking about it, will show you, it will reveal to you the erroneous, incorrect thoughts about yourself that you are having, that you put that irritating person or situation projected it out into your experience in order to reveal that to you. You put that there to use for a particular purpose. And just like I had the opportunity while walking up the hill and having the quiet time to myself to realize teleporting closets are not a thing, you'll have, if you use it properly, if you use it consciously, I should say, you can use that. You can be grateful to the person or situation that you put there, because they're you. They are, and just like that woman in my dream was me. And just like all of the people in your dream, when you're asleep at night, they're you. It's not like if you're dreaming at night and you have you're 50 years old, but you're having a dream about your mother when you were 6. It's not like your mother from when you were 6 teleported into your brain while you were laying there, right? That's you. And it's showing up as your mother in your dream. Everybody that shows up in your dream is you. And you put them there to reveal something to you. But you're never going to be able to take advantage of that opportunity until and unless you, first of all, realize that's what's going on. And then second of all, put some conscious intent into how you're going to use that. Okay, I put this person here to reveal something to me. The most efficient way to figure out, because that's exactly the point. You're never going to figure it out. The most efficient way to realize what it is they're trying to reveal to you, or what it is you really want to reveal to yourself, is don't try to figure it out, because then you've broken yourself apart. You're a mind, and you're leaving out the body and the emotions and the breath and the soul and the spirit. The most efficient way is to keep the separation and the division down to a minimum. Bring everything back home. Realize that you are one holistic whole: mind, body, emotions, breath, energy, sensation, all of that is one thing. So you use all of it as one thing to delve in deeply into what is going on. What is it that you are sensing in your energy field, right? When you feel fully into the sensation of your energy field, it will reveal to you the source of that arising sensation, which is always going to be a kind of false, negative, limiting belief about yourself that you have accepted. And that is how you can turn this dream into a lucid dream. Let me check Facebook and see what's going on over on Facebook. So I don't really want to get too much more deeply into this until there are some questions, because I'm just going to lose people, and I want people to be able to keep up. So I want there to be questions. So for like next week, you can come to the you could come to the Wednesday reflections. And remember, I say Wednesday. Eventually, I'm going to discontinue the previous group. I don't know, take it offline or delete it or something. There's some videos and comments up there that people probably want to keep. So probably I'll just like stop going to it or whatever. But if you go to Wednesday Reflections and then in parentheses it says public, you can join us there. And if you have a question, you can type a question in there. And between now and next week, and I'll look over the questions and try to answer all of them. Or you could email me your question, and I'll try to answer your questions there. And so why should you do all of this in terms of like waking up within the dream? Eckhart Tolle, Eckhart Tolle says something like 95% of all human suffering, we created ourselves, for ourselves. I think the number was 95%. And I think he's kind of being a little too conservative. It's probably more like 98 or 99% of all suffering that you suffer, you create for yourself, and just everything that I was talking about tonight is the activity of how you create your own suffering. It's the activity of continually recreating every day of your existence the original act of appearing to separate from source, appearing to leave oneness, and appearing to go into two-ness, appearing to go into duality. And so you just, I mean, thousands of lifetimes, billions of years, over and over and over and over. You have done this, you have trillions of times. And on some level, you are getting sick of it. And that's why you're showing up at my Zoom class or my Facebook group. Because on some level, you're like, been there, done that. I'm ready to move on, right? If you could feel, we forget everything at birth. And there's a reason for that. Because if it wasn't for that veil of forgetfulness, if you could feel how many millions of times you have reenacted this same stupid scenario over and over and over again, you would probably gnaw your fingers off. So in my lucid dream, before I woke up inside the dream, before it became lucid, I was suffering. I was freaking out. I had to get this paper delivered. And nobody cared. So these people were torturing me with their indifference. I was angry at them, irritated at them, frustrated at them. I was suffering, and all of it was my own creation. I was making myself miserable, and I was responsible for all of it. I did it all. And unfortunately, I didn't have, as a little tiny dream character with only a fraction of my consciousness, one cylinder instead of 16, I didn't have enough presence of mind to see these indifferent, blasé individuals as a blessing, as a learning opportunity, as a chance for me to wake up. I didn't even know what was going on. I was just too busy being hysterical to even begin to think about what might be going on, right? So I didn't get any benefit at all. These people were just like idiots who were torturing me, and I was suffering. Is that how you run around in your life? Being tortured by idiots and suffering? Maybe say thank you. Look for the opportunity. Think about, what is this at? What is this showing me? Why did I put these people here to torture me like this? What is it I'm supposed to learn from this? Don't be like I was in the dream, running around like a chicken with your head cut off. You bring presence to it. You just have to ask the question, right? Show me how these lies about myself that I am believing, about how I deserve all of this, show me that's not true. Show me I don't know what I think I know. Show me what it is I'm supposed to learn from this person doing this. Show me what it is. Show me that I don't know what I think I know. Give up everything that you think you know. Be open to the possibility that maybe there's more going on here than you know. Don't hold on to these judgments. because that just keeps you trapped in this loop that you've been doing for billions of years. All right, enough of that. We'll close with a breathing meditation. We'll do a short one. We're going to do 20 connected breaths. 20 connected breaths is really 5 breaths, but you repeat it 4 times for a total of 20. You breathe in and out through the nose. We don't use the mouth, we just use the nose. The first 4 breaths are fast. You focus on the speed. You focus on keeping the breaths connected. So what do I mean by connected? We connect the inhale to the exhale without pausing. There's no gap or pause or space between the inhale and the exhale. And then again, there's no gap or pause or space between the exhale and the next inhale. So you're breathing continuously. The inhale connected to the exhale without gap or pause. The exhale becomes the inhale. So you inhale through your nose. At the top of the inhale, you immediately just relax and let the exhale fall out. As soon as the exhale is complete, you don't like take a pause. You immediately take in the next inhale. So think of it as a circle, one continuous breath. It's not in, out, or 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just one breath. So the first 4 breaths, you are breathing fast. I mean, I used to say breathe as fast as you can, but then I would get these extreme sports people who would basically try to kill themselves. So it's not like as fast as is humanly possible, but with alacrity, faster than you would normally be breathing sitting in a chair. And then the 5th breath, you don't focus on the speed or the connectedness so much. It's still connected, but it's a deep breath. So the 5th breath, you're focusing on really expanding your lungs, really taking a deep breath. And so so you do that 4 fast breaths, 1/5 breath. 4 fast breaths. The 5th breath is a deep breath. All of them are connected. That's a set of 5. You repeat it 4 times for a total of 20. Warning, don't pause between sets of 5. People have a tendency to do that. Your first breath should be connected all the way to the 20th breath. There's no pausing. We break it up into sets of 5 because it's easy to keep track of that way. Because when you do this, especially if you've never done it before, you may find that you lose track and you get the energy begins to move through you so powerfully, you have no idea which breath you're on. So what you do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which is the deep one, stick out your thumb or finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or 1 through 20, 5, 10, 15, 20. Every multiple of 5 is the deep breath. The 5th breath is deep, the 10th breath is the deep one, 15th is deep, the 20th final breath is the deep. So when you have 4 fingers sticking out, you're done. You've done 20. So that makes it, that helps you not lose track of where you are. Um, so I'm going to demonstrate and then we'll do it together. So 20 connected breaths. So you want to be, don't do this while you're driving. You should be like, be safe. Be in a chair with a back. Don't be like on a stool that if you get dizzy and fall over and hurt yourself. After you've done this a while, you can be standing up and do it, no problem. But like when you're first learning how to do it, we always recommend like having a safe place, like a chair with arms and a back so that you can't get hurt. Do it on your couch, do it on your bed. Um, um, that way, if you fall over, you're on the couch or you're on your bed. And yeah, you can do it lying down in your bed. And sometimes I like to do it to help me fall asleep at night. But when you're learning, like you want to stay alert while you're learning something. So if you're in your bed, sit up and do it sitting up, and then after you're done, you can always lay down. And then eventually you can do the whole thing laying down. But that's, if you're first learning how to do it, be sitting. So it's breathing in and out. In and out is one breath, right? In and out is one breath. So in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. 4 fast ones. In, out. The fifth breath being the deep one. But you can count however you want. If you want to count in as 1 and out as 2, that's fine. But now you're going to be doing 40 connected breaths instead of 20. So in and out is 1 breath. And so you're going to be doing 20 in and outs. And every 5th in and out is going to be deep. And the other ones are going to be fast. So that's about as simple as I can make it. So I'll demonstrate 20 connected breaths. And don't feel bad about having to keep count. I've been doing this for years, and I usually use my fingers because if I don't, not every time, but a lot of times, I will lose track. But it's up to you. So 20 connected breaths. Okay, so notice that after the 20th breath, I didn't like immediately stop and open my eyes and get up and go drive my car, right? I let the breathing, I'm controlling the breathing in a kind of mechanical way. 4 fast, 1 deep, 4 fast, 1 deep. After the 20th breath, I let the breath do whatever it wants to do. I don't control it. I let it basically find its own place. And then I sit there enjoying the flow of the energy for, just now for like 20 seconds. If I didn't have a bunch of people waiting on me for a class, I probably would have sat there for 2 or 3 minutes. So, and you can sit for as long as you like. In fact, in terms of coming into this center place where you pull all of your fractured pieces into one presence. 20 connected breaths is really good for that, both as the preamble to a meditation. So you do 20 connected breaths and then do your regular meditation, 10, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour long, whatever your normal regular meditation is. If you precede it with 20 connected breaths, it will be better. And as you're going about your day and you bring your consciousness, have a part of your consciousness in the observer mode so that you're watching what's going on, so that you begin to realize this isn't a thing. This makes no sense. This isn't real. I must be dreaming. What's really useful is if you are like right in the middle of a massive trigger where you're just like totally freaking out. How long did it just take us to do 20 connected breaths? Like 20 seconds, 30 seconds? Get yourself to a bathroom, close the door, take 30 seconds to do 20 connected breaths with the intent of getting observer mode going. And then observe this triggering situation. It's like if you've ever played any of those video games where you're like where you get the energy pack, so your character has more, can last longer. So this is like the energy pack of this video game of daily living. You can use it to bring yourself into this observer consciousness of being fully present, and then re-engage the triggering situation and see what happens. See how much better you can handle it, because now it's not so threatening, because now you're not like a victim of uncontrolled random circumstances. You are beginning to see how the dream script is going to go the way it's going to go, but you wrote it, so you're not a hapless victim. It's your script. So the 20 connected breaths. So we'll let's do it together, and then we'll sit for a bit, and then we'll end the class. So we'll get ready to go. 20 connected and begin. Oh, don't worry about matching me. Everybody breathes differently. So breathe fast for you and deep for you. You don't have to match me. You don't have to match anybody. And we'll begin. Okay, so thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. So this will be up on YouTube later. It'll be on Facebook pretty soon. Wednesday Reflections Public. You can find me on Ray Bratcher Facebook. Wednesday Reflections is a group. Sacred Breath VI is another Facebook page for my Sacred Breath work. I'm on Instagram, and WordPress is Gateway to Sacred Breath, Gateway to Freedom. So all of those are ways of finding me, so that you can either email me or text me, or put a comment in one of the Facebook pages, or a direct message with Instagram or Facebook. If you have a question, so if you want to get your question answered next week, you could have some time to think about like you're kind of on the spot here. But if you have a week to think about it, you might. Those are all. You could ask me any question, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. YouTube, Instagram and YouTube are both Breathe Only Love. Breathe Only Love. And just, those are just, I put out a lot of free material that you could take advantage of, and I hope that you do use it to help yourself. And it's also different ways of interacting and getting your specific questions answered, because you could watch videos or read books all day long, and it doesn't really directly deal with your life, what's going on precisely with you. So all I can do is just make avenues of contact available, resources for approach, ways of approach, and then it's up to you to use them. So let me take one last look at Facebook. Cool. All right. You guys have a great night. And see you next Wednesday. Namaste. Good night.